Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help because
well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Whoopi Goldberg has ruled The View like her own personal kingdom, shutting down guests, steamrolling opposing opinions, and delivering her takes as if they were absolute fact. But then came Karoline Leavitt, and in just one explosive episode, the so-called queen of daytime TV found herself completely dethroned. What happened next? No one could have predicted it.
We can't allow on this show to have things said that we know for a fact are not true.
With the usual smug laughter, sarcasm, and a panel eager to nod along, the episode started like any other. But the moment Whoopi spoke, the tone in the room shifted. The topic of discussion, wokeness, a concept The View staunchly defends. Feeling emboldened, Whoopi took the first jab, flashing her signature smirk. Gesturing toward Keroline, she quipped, "Without wokeness, you wouldn't even have this job."
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
The energy in the room shifted immediately. Even Joy Behar, known for her relentless jabs at conservatives, shifted uncomfortably in her seat. This wasn't just a debate. It was Whoopi outright dismissing Karoline Leavitt's entire career, intellect, and dedication, reducing it to nothing more than a product of the very ideology she openly opposed. It was a low blow, and the audience knew it. Yet, they still clapped.
I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good. So good. In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you-know-who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then the moderators...
But Karoline didn't so much as flinch. She didn't get defensive or rattled. Instead, she simply smiled. That slow, knowing smile that all but said, "Oh, you just made a huge mistake." And with a steady, unshakable confidence that only comes from having the facts on your side, she systematically tore apart Whoopi's entire argument. What happened next was unlike anything you've ever seen before. Stick with us as we break it all down. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
Karoline started with the cold, hard facts, pulling up government spending reports that revealed exactly how taxpayer dollars were being funneled into ridiculous woke projects. From gender studies programs in Guatemala to foreign Sesame Street, initiatives pushing American-style activism overseas, she laid it all out with razor-sharp precision. The message was clear. Wokeness had strayed far from its original call for fairness and had become a political weapon designed to silence opposing voices. Whoopi, who was used to guests crumbling under her pressure, suddenly found herself trapped. And even if she wanted to clap back now, Karoline wasn't about to let her off the hook.
Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on. Right. That's what you hear. when they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say, they talk at you, not to you. And that's what she was doing. And she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the...
Whoopi opened her mouth, then shut it. She tried again, nothing. The audience, usually quick to erupt in cheers at Whoopi's sharp remarks, sat frozen. Even the camera crew seemed unsure of what to do. Do they zoom in on Whoopi's stunned face, capturing the rare moment where she looked like she wanted to sink right into her chair after making such a terrible statement?
That you saw live on this program yesterday. Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Keroline.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
No, you cannot be attractive and smart. I will try to give Joy the benefit of, well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt worked, I mean, she went to St. Anselm College, she worked for WMUR
Ran for
TV.
Congress?
In New Hampshire, she ran for Congress at the age of 25, put on a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Pregnant. Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives and this, again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job of you know.
The truth is, if wokeness is truly about diversity and inclusion, then why is it that conservative women are always the ones being targeted and torn down?
Yeah, I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a...
At this moment, Whoopi is coming to terms with the fact that she has no response. No clever remark to salvage the situation. Joey attempted to recover by making a nervous joke, but the damage had already been done. Whoopi had just pulled off, something even she had never done before, and the internet wasted no time turning it into a spectacle. But here's where things take an even wilder turn.
One last thing, what was interesting to me is Dan Rather weighed in on X, and he said, he compared our time now to the Nixon era, which was a little scary for me. But he said, enough with both sides-ism. When one side lies intentionally and repeatedly, they are no longer entitled to the benefit of the doubt.
And we should keep in mind, too, that the people that need to hear this are the people who are running the networks that are okaying this. Because this idea, it's like they say to you now, you can only work within this perimeter. But if the facts are not clear to people, that was what a journalist was there to do, to say, in fact, this is what went on and this is how we checked. Now, we've been given doubts that people don't know how to do this. The media has pretty much always been
This wasn't the first time Whoopi's mouth had gotten her into trouble. Over the years, she has turned The View into a lawsuit magnet, pulling ABC into controversy after controversy, from her tone-deaf comments about the Holocaust to her strange defenses of questionable figures. Whoopi has found herself at the heart of some of the show's biggest scandals, but nothing has hit the network harder than the recent defamation lawsuits. First from Carrie Underwood, then from Elon Musk, and now from Karoline Leavitt.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help because voters are going to re-elect President Trump back to the White House very soon because voters see these trials that are being brought forward against President Trump for what they are. They are sham show trials. They are election interference in an attempt to imprison President Trump. And the irony in all of this is that Joe Biden and the Democrats and these ladies on The View constantly say President Trump is the alleged threat to democracy, when in fact they themselves are wishfully thinking that President Trump will be imprisoned when he has not been convicted of any crimes. That is the real threat to democracy. Voters see that, and that's why President Trump continues his dominance in the polls, not just with Republicans and independents, but he's also picking up historic gains with Democrat constituencies such as African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and union workers.
Well,
let's dive into Carrie Underwood. Whoopi and her co-hosts went after her like vultures when she performed at Trump's second inauguration. They mocked her claim of having ruined her career and even implied she had aligned herself with the wrong crowd. Underwood, usually one to steer clear of drama, had had enough. She filed $1 billion defamation lawsuit against The View. And when the case went to court, leaked emails revealed something explosive. ABC had orchestrated the attack on Underwood to boost ratings. The lawsuit sent shockwaves through the industry, and ABC ended up paying a hefty settlement, leaving executives wondering if The View was still worth all the trouble. And then came Elon Musk.
To each side. And now when we've gone to this place where you only hear this, see, we have to tell you both sides. That's why Alyssa's here, that's why Anna's here, because we don't all think the same way. And it's like you all don't think the same way, so you want to hear what other people say. But when they're lying, we can't have it. We can't allow on this show to have things said that we know for a fact are not true. That's what it used to be. That's what it needs to go back to be, and that's where y'all come in. It's okay to feel how you feel, but demand the truth. Demand folks fact check what they're telling you, because what they're telling you is important.
Whoopi had spent months labeling Elon Musk everything from a dangerous billionaire to a threat to democracy. But when she and the other hosts began spreading verifiably false claims about Twitter's policies under Musk, he did something no one saw coming. He sued. And when Musk sues, he doesn't take it lightly. Once again, ABC found itself in damage control mode, with rumors circulating that advertisers were growing weary of The View's endless controversies.
My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
All right.
What'd she say?
She basically said that they were going to give unqualified.
God, how boring!
Unqualified
Can they get
people,
somebody there
jobs.
not so
Behind
tedious?
the Table podcast needs to apply for White House credentials.
Oh, they'd love having Joy in that room.
I got a question. So wait a second. So in other words, instead of Bob Woodward, they want Kim Kardashian? What? I don't get it.
And now Karoline Leavitt had just delivered yet another devastating blow. 1 lawsuit is bad, 2 is worse, but 3 is a full-blown crisis. ABC executives were in full panic mode. The show was hemorrhaging millions in ad revenue, and insiders leaked reports that some of the network's biggest sponsors were reconsidering their partnerships. But the fallout didn't stop there. ABC executives immediately went into crisis management mode. For years, they'd let Whoopi run The View without restraint, allowing her to shut down conservative guests with no consequences. But now, she was the one getting shut down. And it was nothing short of humiliating. Just when things couldn't get worse for her, they did. Sponsors started pulling out, and advertisers no longer wanted to be associated with a show where the hosts stormed off rather than engaging in debate. Even loyal The View fans began questioning whether the show had finally crossed the line.
Attacking a woman for her looks or age isn't very progressive. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Kosha, particularly that last clip that we played, it was so condescending. The way that she was scolding her as if she was a schoolgirl, suggesting she needed to do her homework. I find it so hypocritical when these so-called you know, caring, progressive voices just turn so nasty like that?
Yes, and as you mentioned, with conservative women, there's a long list of that, both of Trump's previous press secretaries, females, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, other figures like his campaign manager the first time, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Palin very famously had to bear the brunt of a lot of this. So people are used to that. I think in their bubble of the audience that The View speaks to, that's probably kind of what the group think is. So one defense, I guess, is that she was speaking to her audience, but you take it outside of that bubble the way you are right now, and we all can see what it is. It was also interesting, too, because she was conflating two ideas.
Then came the moment no one saw coming. ABC removed Whoopi Goldberg from The View. Of course, they didn't outright say she was fired. Instead, they tried to spin it with their usual PR tactics, claiming Whoopi was taking a break to focus on other projects. But anyone with a shred of common sense knew the truth. She was shown the door. Whoopi had spent years dominating the show, transforming it from a panel discussion into an echo chamber where only one side of the argument was ever heard. She had belittled, dismissed, and silenced guests without hesitation. But one debate with Karoline Leavitt changed everything, and now The View was in complete turmoil.
While I vow to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House.
Boom. She's got more.
I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
Bam! It's on in the middle of the night.
Would ABC bring in another Whoopi-like figure to replace her? Or would they finally acknowledge that the show needed balance? Could The View even survive this kind of backlash? Had Karoline Leavitt just set a new standard for how conservatives push back against the media? Whoopi thought she could steamroll Karoline like she had done to so many others. Instead, she got utterly destroyed in front of millions of viewers. And now, as ABC scrambles to clean up the mess, the world is watching.
New rock star launched overnight. Now, I know she's been around for some time, but how's this? She's just 27. But she's fantastic. This is the brand new press secretary representing the president. Now remember old Carrie Jean-Pierre just lying to people about how amazing Biden was, deep fakes. The one before that, Jen Psaki, circle around just telling lies. Well, they've been replaced with a lady called Karoline Leavitt. I repeat, you can see she's a lady of faith. She's a lady who knows how to fire guns recreationally. And she knows how to drop a few bombs verbally on a press pack that, remember, covered up for Biden and have told the worst possible lies about incoming future Hitler Trump. Have a look at her taking control of a room of people who normally wouldn't even roll their eye.
Whoopi Goldberg had always been The View's biggest star, but now she's its biggest liability. The fallout from this latest controversy could very well be the final nail in the coffin for the show. Will ABC finally pull the plug? Or could they ever bring Whoopi back after everything that's happened? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video.